The Council warned them, "Don't touch Earth's children." They ignored it. The Galactic Council's warning was clear. It echoed through every official channel, across encrypted bands, and even in the ancient languages reserved for emergency broadcasts. By decree of the Galactic Council, Sol 3, also known as Earth, is under absolute protection. Do not engage. Do not provoke. Do not touch the Terrans or their descendants. Most species listened. Most understood. But the Threx Dominion was not most species. They ruled by conquest, not caution. Their fleets burned worlds and enslaved species who couldn't resist. So when their patrol intercepted a human colony ship, small, unarmed, carrying settlers to a remote moon, they ignored the warning. What could one little human vessel do against an empire of billions? The mistake. Captain Vortoon of the Threx destroyer Ravenclaw sneered at the grainy holofeed of the captured colonists. There were only a few hundred of them, men, women, and children. No soldiers. No defenses. They call themselves pioneers, hissed his first officer. Farmers, engineers, scientists. Vortoon's mandibles flexed in amusement. Farmers, he repeated. The Council protects farmers? Pathetic. He ordered the human vessel seized, its passengers detained for labor evaluation. The humans didn't resist. They didn't fight. They only stared at their captors with calm, unreadable eyes. The youngest, a girl, barely 12, met Vortoon's gaze through the energy field of her cell and said softly, "You shouldn't have done that." He laughed in her face. "And why not, little prey?" She smiled. "Because they'll come." The arrival. 3 standard days later, the Threx Dominion lost contact with its frontier sector. Entire fleets went silent. Planetary communications collapsed. Defense satellites went dark. At first, Vortoon thought it was coincidence, technical failure, perhaps sabotage. But when his sensors detected 32 human ships entering the system, all doubt evaporated. They weren't warships, not in the traditional sense. They didn't have spines bristling with weapons, or hulls covered in armor plating. They looked civilian. But the moment the Threx fleet fired on them, the stars ignited. Human vessels flickered in and out of sight, using drives the Threx couldn't detect. Energy pulses melted through battleship shields like paper. Every Threx missile was intercepted before launch, every defense scrambled by unseen hackers. Within an hour, the fleet that had enslaved hundreds of worlds was nothing but drifting wreckage. And through it all, one transmission cut through the chaos, calm, human, and ice-cold. "You touched our children." The response. When the Galactic Council convened in emergency session, the humans didn't attend. They didn't need to. Footage from the Threx sector told the story. The Dominion's capital was gone, vaporized, erased from orbital maps. The nearby colonies had surrendered before the humans even arrived. The Council's speaker, a wizened Bolin, turned to the representatives gathered around the table. "Humanity warned us," he rasped. "We wrote that warning in every treaty after the Sol Wars. We all agreed Earth's people are not to be provoked." A nervous envoy from the Trinari Republic whispered, "But they have never acted without cause." "Perhaps this time." "Perhaps," the Bolin snapped. "They destroyed an empire overnight." "Overnight. Do you think they care about our definitions of cause?" No one spoke. The prisoner. On board a drifting Threx transport, Captain Vortoon woke to silence. The air smelled of burned circuits and ozone. His crew was gone. His ship disabled, stripped of weapons. Only one figure stood before him, a human woman in a black uniform, her expression neutral. "I am Commander Ria Lang of the Terran Defense Fleet," she said. "You are the last surviving officer of the Threx incursion." Vortoon spat. "You slaughtered billions for a handful of colonists." Ria's gaze didn't waver. No, she said. We responded to an act of aggression against our people. What you call slaughter, we call containment. He sneered. You think you're gods, don't you? Rhea leaned closer. Her voice dropped to a whisper. No. Gods show mercy. The reckoning. The council begged humanity to stop. They offered reparations, trade deals, even amnesty for surviving Zarth officers. Earth refused. For the first time in recorded history, the humans issued a single, terrifying decree. We will no longer negotiate the value of our children. And with that, they unleashed their silent fleet. No one knew where the ships came from, hidden dockyards, forgotten moons, perhaps beyond the edge of the galaxy. They didn't broadcast signals, didn't communicate, didn't explain. They simply erased every Zarth world from the star maps. By the time the last system fell, no Zarth remained to surrender. The galaxy had seen wars before, bloody, endless wars that lasted centuries, but nothing like this. Humanity didn't conquer. They ended things. And when it was over, they vanished again, withdrawing into their territory without a word. The Council's realization. Decades later, the Council archives would declassify the original Earth Treaty, drafted after humanity's first contact centuries ago. It was short. Only one clause truly mattered. Harm no human child. The response will not be diplomatic. The clause had been laughed at then, an odd, overprotective relic of a violent past. But now, it was written on every starport wall, etched into every treaty, carved into the memories of every ambassador. No one would ever laugh again. Epilogue. The girl. Years after the Zarth were gone, a young human girl, older now, stronger, stood on a hill beneath an alien sky. The colony had been rebuilt, its people thriving once more. Her mother joined her, watching the sunset. Do you remember the day they took us? The woman asked softly. The girl nodded. I remember their faces. I remember what they said. Her mother's hand trembled slightly. Do you hate them? The girl shook her head. No. Hate isn't what saved us. She looked up at the stars, where somewhere out there, unseen, the silent fleet still waited, patient and watchful. We don't hate, she said quietly. We remember.